Binnings. Yep, we're live. Let's see. Three, two, one. Larry.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Big Idea Podcast. We've got a special guest on today, Chris Snellgrove. Chris has an incredible company called Reputation Sensei. Man, is it needed in dealerships these days? And boy, is Chris a good guy. For my disclaimer, I met him a while back and we've become friends, but his product is all there. So without further ado, Mr. Snellgrove, tell everybody about who you are, what you do, and the great things the Reputation Sensei brings to light.
Thank you, Larry. Appreciate that introduction. So, we believe at Reputation Sensei that every company has a story to tell, and that story is best told by the customers that experience the value of the services that that company offers. And we help our clients tell that story through testimonials and reviews. And it's, we've evolved our service offering over the past few years, where we were first focused on back in 2016, just getting pure reviews, right? Because every dealership wanted them. But as we got deeper into the service offering and the business, we discovered that there's something behind those reviews that really drives that, and that's customer experience. So you got to first start, the first part of our process is you got to delight the customer with a exceptional customer experience. If you don't do that part right, nothing else matters. Forget about getting a review, forget about getting a testimonial. It's not going to happen. So delight the customer. And then, if you're taking care of the customer and turning customers into raving fans, which we promote and advocate, then you want to capture that with a testimonial or review. And I think you want to push it out and broadcast that and use the voice of the happy customers to attract more people to the dealership. So in essence, our value proposition to dealerships is we help them communicate trust in their marketing and really refine their CX to an entirely different level.
By the way, for anyone listening, Chris isn't talking about pointing a camera at somebody and saying how wonderful the dealership was. He has a really simplistic but intricate way of integrating the customer with the dealership, getting them to spread the word through their networks as well as yours. Why don't you elaborate a little bit, Chris?
Sure. So, if Larry, you just sold me a car and then you just go, hey, Chris, will you do me a solid? Will you do me a testimonial? 99% of the time that person's going to say, no, I'm good. So, they're not going to agree to it. So we have a very specific strategy that we train dealerships on how to get more testimonials. And we really want to uncover the why. Why did they choose you? And so it begins with a line of questioning. So instead of asking for a testimonial or even a review for that matter, right out of the gate, we recommend having a conversation with the customer and asking them, hey, do you mind if I ask you a few questions about the experience that we had here today? And this typically occurs after they've agreed to buy the car. Perhaps they're waiting on finance. That's a good time because there's that time period that it takes to get into finance oftentimes. And we recommend just, having that conversation. Hey, how long were you in the market to buy? Were you in the market to shopping for a car? And how many stores did you consider? And ultimately, what led you to us? And what you're looking for is a unique, something unique about the experience. If they're like, oh, you had the best price or you had the best selection. No, you want to dig deeper and say, well, specifically, what was it that made you choose us? And again, you're looking for something that, oh, well, Chris, you sent me a video walk around of the car and introduced yourself and sent it to me. The other 3 salespeople that I was shopping at the other stores didn't do that. So again, I'm looking for that unique identifier, and then I'm going to ask you. So, what part of the experience did you like best? Would you say that we made the process easy? Would you recommend your friends and family? So again, I'm interviewing them for probably about 5 minutes, and only after they uncover the why, then almost, as an afterthought, I'm going to go, hey, you know what, Larry, would you mind telling your story with a testimonial? Now, I haven't said video. I just said testimonial because I want to gauge your reaction. And from that point, we can determine what kind of testimonial. Because there's some people, quite frankly, they're never going to get in front of a video camera. Okay. But the last thing you want to do is ask someone if they agree to a testimonial is, hey, Mike, I need you to open up with your name, the name of the store, what you purchased, what you like best about it, and mention my name at some point. Go. Most people are going to just freeze up. They're not going to be comfortable with that. That's called a performance video. testimonial. Most people don't feel comfortable with that. So instead, we're going to ask them if they would be willing to do a testimonial, and then we're going to say, hey, we can do this any way you want. You can look into the camera. I can interview you from behind the camera, the same questions that you just answered, or I can jump in there with you and interview you on camera. Which way do you prefer? At which point they will answer. If they're agreeable, then I like the interview process where you get in and interview them on camera. That's the most engaging. It's the most, I think, appealing to people. It's the most natural because you're not asking that person to perform. You're just asking them to answer a few questions. Now, if they go, nah, I really don't feel comfortable on camera, then you immediately shift to a photo and you say, Mike, no problem. Would you give me a quote on what you like best about the experience and let me take a picture of you by your car? Would you do that? Oh, sure, I'll do that. Now I have a quote from you and I have a photo. You combine those two and you have a photo testimonial. So that's very powerful.
Chris, I got a quick question for you. On the pushback on dealers. We the two of us have worked on reputation marketing, and it's still correcting me. You mean reputation management? Yeah. You don't make any money managing anything.
Right.
You make money marketing your 5-star reviews in order to get more customers. How much of a pushback are you getting from the car dealers that pretty much, bad works? We've been doing it this way forever.
Yeah.
Do you run into that? And the second part of the question is, those that don't, do they realize that that 13,000 out of the 17,000 car dealers aren't responding to good or bad reviews, which is costing them 30 to 35% revenue?
Sure.
Do you attack those pain points when setting down with
Michael? You're overlooking the fact that most dealerships are in the witness protection program, so they want to make sure nobody knows who they are, where they were, can identify their movement.
Speaking in English.
Listen, you just saw me answer my phone, and you're going to laugh your butt off. I just made a deal with somebody in those 2 seconds.
Of course, you make all your business on this podcast.
But hold on for a second. What was interesting was I always hear these meaningless stats that I kind of shake my head and go, but Chris has some stats as to the effectiveness and how it drives business in places. So only because I know his program works, I've recommended it to some people and they're ecstatic. Chris, explain to them how dramatic it is, the amount of exposure and how many more because everybody's looking to get those clicks and to have people know who they are and what they are.
Wow, You've got to pull full plate there, Chris.
Yeah. So there's a few things to unpack there. Number one, I do feel strongly to answer Mike's question. There is a huge difference between reputation marketing and reputation management. Most dealers are in the reputation management business. They put a process in place. They buy software that will solicit reviews. They'll even respond to the reviews. That's reputation management. But when you implement a reputation marketing strategy, not only are you capturing customer feedback, but you're actually broadcasting that, syndicating that, and using that in your local market to really communicate that you're a trustworthy dealer, not by your account, but by the account of your happy customers. And that's what we say. Every car dealer goes up to the rooftop and shouts, hey, we're the best, come buy from us. But what consumers tend to trust more than what the dealer's saying is what the current customers are saying. And so, and Larry, to your point with Google, most dealers now have thousands of Google reviews. In 2016, we saw dealers with a handful of reviews. They all were desperate to get reviews. Now they've all put a process in place. They're generating the reviews. Mike, some of them are responding to the reviews. Some of them, quite frankly, are not. But a lot of them are. But consumer trust in online reviews is dropping. In 2020, 79% of consumers trusted online reviews as much as friends and family, as much as recommendations from friends and family. That's dropped down to 42% now. So consumer trust in online reviews is dropping. And that's why we feel the next evolution is testimonials, because 98% of dealers out there don't have the testimonials. They have the reviews, which are great for, creating authority on Google. But now if you want to stand out, you've got to do something different. You've really got to work harder to gain the trust of the customer. I was selected by NADA to speak. First time I ever applied. And listen, the only reason I got a speakership at the NADA, which is a very tough gig to obtain, is because of my topic. And my topic is beyond Google reviews, next level trust marketing. And they love the idea, because what I'm doing is saying, hey, Google is good, but what's great is when you do something above and beyond. And that's the testimonials.
Chris, and one of my mentors, John Kelly, brilliant guy, told me a long time ago. He says, Larry, if you tell me you're handsome, doesn't mean a darn thing. But if through him and say, boy, that guy's handsome, when it's coming from somebody else, when it's not you tooting your own horn, but somebody else saying how tremendous it was. And again, I've seen what you do. It's not produced. It's just very natural. You get people in the right mood, in the right condition, and they like it so much, they can't wait to put it on their networks, which is an exponential growth thing.
Yeah. What we're really pushing right now is a testimonial app that gives a salesperson the ability to not only capture the testimonial, but to share it immediately with the customer, and the customer can share it on any social media that's on their phone. So, we've been putting video testimonials on the dealers' fan pages for years, which is good. But when you get it inside that customer's social network on their news feed, that's great, because that's going to drive referrals. Now you're marketing, your customers marketing your services to their social networks.
Hey, Chris, we've got, I don't know if you know Gary Silman, not only a good guy, but man, he's like the unofficial governor of Connecticut. Garrett, any thoughts or any questions for Chris? Because I've seen this thing in action, and man, does it push up visibility.
Well, I'm sitting here listening, and his approach is definitely much needed today, because as we see, is the dealers really don't know how to market. They know how to sell cars, and they do a terrible job when they're in control of the marketing. And unfortunately, a lot of times the marketing gets pushed down to maybe a family member or somebody, just to watch it. But when I listen, the dealers that embrace the reviews and they're looking for it, well, those are the dealers that are separating themselves today. And, when we talk about the 17,000 rooftops or whatever number of dealers, is they're always still 10, 15 years behind. And so they're still trying to catch up from 2016 with getting Dealer Rater. So with technology at our fingertips and the need of information that's being starved by dealers just not even doing anything, well, that's separating the men from the boys, as they used to say. Or we got to be very, very politically correct, the men and women from the boys and girls. So, I'm looking for the dealer to step up and to separate themselves from the rest by using preloads, by using F&I products to create a better customer experience. So they build it where the consumer wants more information and wants to learn. And so, Chris is the back end, but the information that he's gaining from the back end is the knowledge that you definitely need in the marketing department on the front end. And so what I see is I'm learning all this, and Reputation Sensei. Okay, it is 5-star reviews. Okay, I didn't know what a 5-star review was 5 years ago. Mike Larkin had to teach me about a 5-star review. My children, we don't go to a restaurant anymore unless they check that restaurant out and they look for the reviews. I guess that's going to work the same way for auto dealers, and the ones that are hiding their information and hiding their raving fans are going to lose. And the ones that say that we're going to do what we say and say what we do and then prove it by testimonials, that's all I'm seeing is successful. Local, hometown franchise dealers doing the right thing for their local community that they live and work in.
Well, they're also doing the right thing for themselves, Gary.
They absolutely, and that's where it starts, and that's where that's the speed of the owner, and what we get to see now in now 2025, we've got women and minorities running the dealerships now, and they get it, and they want to do the right thing, and they're moving in that direction. I mean, the women in auto right now, the movement is huge. Because everybody trusts a female twice as much as they trust a man. And they always make the decisions. So it's really interesting for me because I know the shifts are here and I'm trying to catch the waves of the positive shift. And what Chris looks to be bringing is like, yeah, this customer, hey, let me interview you. You just came out of the F&I office. Oh, that guy's a dirtbag, tried to sell me everything, or I come out of the F&I office. What a wonderful person. I just met him. He showed me all that. He explained my manufacturer's warranty. He pointed out where I don't have coverage based on my needs. And I had a wonderful experience and my payments are under my budget and I'm happy. Wow, that's what everybody wants to see.
The Bible says, hide not your light under a bushel or none shall see your light. Chris's whole thing is there are plenty of happy people out there that we don't take advantage of.
Yeah.
So, guys, we all know the drill. Every salesperson talks all day that there's no business, but he doesn't bother going back to service. He doesn't look at the orphan files, and he doesn't reach out to the people he's already sold where he has a 70% close ratio. And so all Chris is trying to do is say, the happy people are out there, and if we do it the right way, more people can know, and that's going to be 100 times more effective than the dealer dressed like a chicken jumping up and down on TV.
You got another deal. Answer that.
The best part about what we're doing is it puts a focus on the customer experience, and when you put a focus on the customer experience, it's a win-win-win for the dealer.
That's when you have that formula, okay. And the owner is empowered his general manager, and his general manager has empowered his people. There's success. And that's everything that we're trying to unpack from the 80s and 90s, that they ironclad locked down. And now that we're on the other side of COVID, it's clearly going to separate dealers. I mean, we just shared a video where it's saying, auto apocalypse, like 67% of dealers are in trouble right now. So the ones that are paying attention to their reputation management and doing it, you can drive and get another Honda in another town not that far away. So if you're not taking care of your customers and your own demographics and they're leaving your demographics, you got a problem.
Yeah, you better be standing out today because you're having to fight harder for those deals. And, Jay Baer is one of my mentors in the business. He wrote Hug Your Haters, Talk Triggers. He's one of the foremost experts in the world on CX marketing, digital marketing. But Jay Baer says, don't expect people to have conversations about your business for doing the expected. You have to do the unexpected. So when people come in and you just do what they expect, don't expect them to write a review.
That's what they came in and they didn't expect to have an argue, to get their vehicles lowballed, to sit for 4 hours in the corner waiting for somebody. They didn't expect all that.
Right.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I remember I love a wonderful waiter or waitress, because when you get one of those, your experience at the restaurant is so much more pleasurable because of that individual. And when you when you're with them and when you're not. And I see the future of whoever's embracing the digital. on the sales floor and making their world a part of what they do and how they sell, you're seeing it. Those are where the salespeople are separating themselves. They're building their own channels. They're marketing themselves. The dealers supporting them, and everybody wins. Those are win-win situations. And you have some handful of smart dealers that are doing it, and they're successful. I mean, we have a network of Ford dealers, and there's a couple of Ford dealers in rural areas killing it on selling used because they took their teams and the owners led. And now it's a winning story. And now we can document it. So, because everything's online and we can read the reviews and we can see the reviews, and that's how you build. That's how you build.
So, Chris, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, what's the best and easiest way to get you? Because I can't see anybody not benefiting from your services.
So reputationsensei.com is one of the ways that you can find out more information on what we're doing. I wanted to say we just released a brand new program that now focuses on 3 types of feedback. And it's part of our strategy. The first part is internal feedback. And that is going to be where we ask the customer immediately upon leaving service or sales to rate the experience on a scale of 1 to 5. Anything below a 5 is internal. And you wouldn't believe that the 4s that could turn into a 5, right? Sometimes the best opportunity is the 4s. But you definitely want to address the 1s and 2s. But guess what? You don't want to do it and find out about the problem the first time you find out about a problem is when you read it on Google. So we circumvent that negative feedback, keep it internal, and immediately alert the dealership. The dealership can immediately communicate with that customer by text messaging from the platform, so they can recover that unhappy customer. And then the 5s we take immediately to Google. So we're producing the Google reviews. And that's where you get in trust and validation in search results when people are looking up the dealership. And then the third type of feedback is the testimonials, which are the holy grail. Those do take some training where we have to come in and train the teams on how to on how to obtain those. And then we provide them with some technology.
Well, the future, the FTC wants the dealers, and it's a law, to have a complaint process on their website. And this is the law. And no one's, of course it's compliance, so it's 20 years behind. No one wants to do it. But the FTC and the CFPB are required to do investigations off of these complaints now. So they're still battling with the CARS law and trying to figure it out. But the reality is that over COVID, there were so many complaints about franchise auto dealers that the FTC stepped in. And now, part of all your regular compliance responsibilities that dealers still fail to do, they're supposed to have a software system that the consumer can come on and complain about service, complain about sales, and they need to be. So I'm saying is that you may be close enough where you can see, because those are coming, or there's a few companies out there that have those platforms, but that is a major focus on the FTC, because dealers don't respond to bad reviews. They don't solve complaints. And just from that, how many 2s and 3s dealers can take and turn that customer into a 5, and then that customer is going to bring their family, is going to talk about they did the right thing, and that's the reputation, and that's how you want to grow organically anyways. And that's
Harry, it's why I always answer my phone.
100%.
It's not just to get a customer, it's to solve any problem. It's an old habit. If you cut problems off and solve them, you're a hero. If you ignore small problems, they grow into giant ones. Guys, remember, with Reputation Sensei, it's SENSEI. So it's reputationsensei.com. It looks like Mike had a question.
One last question, and it's your vision, Chris. With AI search now being prevalent on even Google, your product and service is the tip of the spear for consumers that's the first place they go. If you're looking at a restaurant, the bathroom is dirty. Not tonight, in real time.
Yeah.
So what is your vision on your growth of, I mean, it's blue ocean for you. Let's just put it that way.
Right now, we are talking to a number of SEO companies within the automotive industry that are very interested in partnering with us because of what you just said. Generative engine optimization is the next frontier, and it's only going to grow. So, that's sentiment from reviews is driving those results. And for
you
that,
and I are of the same cloth. We're on the outside of the funnel trying to get people to jump in to the funnel of our clients.
Right.
So, beautiful stuff.
Awesome.
Chris,
I look
we
forward.
appreciate you. I can't recommend you highly enough. The guy gets results, and he's a pleasure to do business with. Gary, Michael, and I are so glad you decided to join us. You're always welcome back. And on top of all that, the two of us will be together in Atlanta when I'm doing some work there. So the two of us together may
That's
need
part two.
We may need some reputation sensei help when we're done. All the trouble you and I can get into.
Nice meeting you, Governor Gary.
Nice talking to you, Chris. Appreciate everything. You
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Great to see you, Mike. Thanks, Larry.
Take care.
Talk to you guys.
Look forward to seeing you in a few weeks. Bye-bye.
Awesome, gentlemen.
His program works great, and he's just a super nice guy, guys. I mean, really good people.
Stores need, hey, look at everybody that we bring on. Stores need help.
Yep.
Oh yeah. So we're on the right track. I just looked at our numbers, the podcast, and between all the properties of the podcast, we're over 20,000 unique visitors. Somebody read an article, or they were on the podcast, or they were on the website. But
wonderful,
20,000.
Wonderful.
So since January, that's
we
pretty
got
good.
a good podcast, guys. We the three of us get along so damn good. We all get involved. It's cool. All right, I'm going to jump. I got to call back this dealer. You're my guys. I'll talk to you and see you soon. And if you need me, reach out, and stay healthy, both of you.
Have a good weekend, guys.
Oh, and thanks for joining us, even on your anniversary dinner. We appreciated it.
Thank you.
Damn, I forgot to mention that tonight. I'm going to have to ad-lib.
Happy anniversary, Gary. Stay healthy, guys.
Happy anniversary. Hey,
all my children are in this weekend. It'll be wonderful.
Wonderful. Talk to you guys.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.